warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Zakat is an Arabic term which derived from the word zakah, that means grow, blessing and pure. Technically, zakat is defined as an act of worship to Allah, which is ibadah, by giving a percentage of wealth to those entitled based on the guideline recommended by Islamic teachings. As the third pillar of Islam after Shahada and Salah, Zakat is an obligatory for the Muslim based on the verse 56, Surah An-Nur, which mentioned that and establish prayer and give zakah and obey the messenger, that you may have received mercy. Many other verses from Quran and Hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly justify the obligatory of zakat for those Muslims who are qualified to set aside a part of their wealth as contribution to those in need. If zakat is compulsory to those who are qualified based on following criteria: Islam, sin, and full possession of wealth according to nisab, which is the minimum value of wealth for zakah, and also how the minimum time of possession of wealth. Purification can be defined as a purification of the person himself, beside the wealth itself. Purification of wealth in Islam reflected the cleansing of one's soul from evil nature or mazmumah, such as greed and selfishness. This noble deed will promote the spirit of true brotherhood in Islam, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in his saying, "None of you have faith till he wishes for his brother what he likes for himself." Beside the benefits for individual person, zakat has been proven to be an effective mechanism for economic growth and to support welfare, especially for the Muslim community. Zakat in Islam basically categorized into two main categories. First, zakat al-fitr, and second, zakatul mal. Zakatul fitr, which is compulsory to all Muslims except to the poor and the needy, have to be paid each year by the end of Ramadan. Whereas zakatul mal categorized into different types of wealth, such as gold and silver, stock and trade or business merchandise, livestock like camel, cow and goat, agricultural products like the wheat and rice, which is the staple food, and fruits like dates and dried grapes. Jurisdiction of zakat management belongs to the state government. The state government is responsible to collect the zakat and also to distribute the zakat to those eligible recipients or asnaf in the state. The fund collected from all the categories circulated to the asnaf, that consists of 8 categories, which are: first, fakir, those who have less than 50% of their basic needs; second, the poor, those who have less than 100% of the basic needs; third, the amir, the person that responsible to collect zakat and distribute the zakat; fourth, mu'allaf, those who are newly converted to Islam; fifth, riqab, Muslim in slavery, but there is no more slavery now; then gharimi, this category is those in debt for the basic needs. Next is fisabilillah, a person or a party that engage in activity for the sake of Islam; and ibn sabil, person who traveling based on the Sharia. We will then look at the zakat as the vital tools for economic growth in Malaysia and in Muslim society as a whole.
So, how zakat helps in growing the economy? Zakat is one of the financial resources for an Islamic country to improve their society economy, especially those who in the bottom line. An effective zakat management in terms of collection and distribution will create a prosperous life for the asnaf. It is also a fundamental base of Islamic economy to bring equilibrium between rich and poor in the society. However, the capacity of the poor should be developed through health, education, and vocational training facilities so that the poor can get out of the poverty trap. Moreover, business entrepreneurship should be developed on a priority basis because through entrepreneurship development programs, it would be possible not only to remove poverty but also to create employment opportunity for many other poor. The Zakat institution in Malaysia is a good example of regulated body where it developed a comprehensive structure of zakat collection and distribution. The Zakat institution introduced more than 20 types of scheme bantuan zakat Baitulmal to help the asnaf. For instance, a monthly financial assistance is given to the asnaf as to ensure their basic necessities is fulfilled. Zakat institution also provides adequate business capital for the poor to start running their own business. The income that they generate from their business can now help them to stand on their own to make a better living and become a role model for the others in the needy and poor community. This is in order to continuously put effort to free them from poverty and improve their living standard. When the poor manage to earn, it would result in a measured increase of the money supply in the economy. This will cause an upward shift in the demand for goods and services. To support this upward shift in the demand for basic necessities of life such as food, clothing and shelter, the production facilities would also gradually expand and begin to absorb their idle capital. Subsequently, in order to support the increased production, the economy would generate more jobs and new employment opportunities. This added employment in turn would generate more demand for goods and services, thus will create more room for additional investment, and finally, the growth cycle based on balanced consumption would contribute to a balanced economic growth. Another view of economic growth, zakat promotes the investment in the society due to the zakat payment on safe wealth. Zakat on the safe wealth will encourage the society to prefer to invest their money or to contribute in giving aids in the form of capital for small businesses. The investment will lead to the growth of small enterprises, then also increase job vacancies, which may reduce the level of employment. In statistics, Lembaga Zakat Selangor, for example, recorded that as at November 2019, a total number of 65,000 out of 70,000 zakat recipients have benefited through the distribution of zakat. However, Lembaga Zakat Selangor expected that the number of asnaf in Selangor for this year will be increased and the zakat collection will be decreased due to the current situation of pandemic COVID-19. Another primary economic purpose of zakat is to redistribute wealth of the society among the poor as to gain equal wealth distribution. Poverty in Islam is concerned with insufficiency of income and the inability in fulfilling basic human needs. However, with a proper zakat distribution in a sustainable form, it increases the monthly household income in the society. Zakat fund also can act as an incentive to the new convert, which is mu'alaf, as part of the effort to assist them to become economically productive recipients. In addition to this, the increasing number of shareholdings by Muslim in business corporation as well as companies using the Islamic label such as Islamic banks and takaful companies has also provided strong basis for a systematic and efficient zakat system of collection and distribution. In a study conducted on the impact of zakat distribution towards equal wealth in Selangor in 2014, it is found that with zakat distribution, there is an improvement in the income distribution of the society towards more equal distribution. This indicates that zakat distribution led to a more equitable distribution to the low income group. Hence, not only the income and wealth distribution become more equitable, the efficiency in use of productive resources also increases in an Islamic economy.
The importance of zakat in economic growth is also reflected in its role as a stabilizer in economic cycles. Zakat can weaken the high amplitudes and decrease the duration of the depression. It may be disbursed in cash, in kind, or in the form of consumer goods and equipment. This characteristic enhances the impact of this binding gift in cycles. In the present case, it is recommended on one side to reduce the ratio of consumption good over capital good by promoting the weight to goods in the payment of zakat. From the other side, it is permissible to pay zakat more in nature than in money. During the depression phase, the investment is reduced and the employments decline due to low demand or because of a reduction in the investment to its desired level. To rectify this situation, it is useful to increase the ratio of consumption good over capital good by strengthening further the payment of zakat in the form of consumer goods. Apart from that, zakat can also be used in the positive impact in reducing the phenomenon of inflation as monetary instruments used to alleviate debt by affecting the methods of supply and demand of money. However, in order to manage the monetary policies in terms of money, zakat collections and distributions or management of zakat can be considered as one of the monetary policies to reduce the inflation rate by imposing zakat to be paid to recipients. One of the implementation of zakat is as a tax deduction element. In Malaysia, zakat has been positioned as a tax deduction in which both zakat and income tax revenue has increased. The successful management of zakat in Malaysia is not only because of support of the state, but also because zakat positioned as a tax deduction. Furthermore, zakat also protects individual and society from economic crises such as failure, investment risk, and unemployment. Zakat comes through from the persons indebted. In this sense, the zakat can be for investors that their financial situation is going through funding problems. So, this charity is manifested as a way to help these investors overcome some financial gaps. Thus, in this case, the zakat can save the individual to avoid bankruptcy and to benefit from an economic recovery aims. Zakat is also a form of insurance against the risk of investing. For investors, it provides security and stimulates the growth of investments. The individual benefits and the company will also benefit. Therefore, zakat is a financial reassuring tool that stimulates investors to enter into financial projects in a more stable and less risky. It therefore supports economic dynamics and opens more opportunities and investment opportunities. Besides that, zakat also contributes to the fight against unemployment. The collection and distribution of the amount of zakat plays a determining role in reducing unemployment through grants that provide needy investors. In fact, the distribution of this amount to the class allows assistance in financing their needs as well as financing their newly created projects. In fact, some poor and needy prefer to have work tools instead of the money that will be consumed. The increase in this category of person gives, without doubt, a good result in the fight against unemployment. Zakat is collected by official bodies which have a setup of the management team and the amils to help collect the zakat from eligible person. In this case, the exploitation of labor allows individuals and members of these organizations to ensure the preservation of jobs. In short, zakat has a multiplier effect to the economy, in which some Muslim economists believe that a certain amount of zakat funds invested according to the overall production priorities of an economy would benefit the poor in particular and the economy. Zakat would gradually eliminate poverty instead of providing recurring financial support to the same set of people. Consequently, employment and income will be increased in the economy, thereby increasing the standard of living of the people, and eventually it will enhance the aggregate volume of zakat collection.
Assalamualaikum. I will continue with zakat as a vital tool to support welfare society. Zakat is one of the pillars of Islam as a form of social action that must be carried out by every Muslim. The benefit of zakat in terms of social welfare in Muslim countries which are: first, improving quality of life by providing healthcare support, by providing access to clean water and sanitation. There is a need for good water and sanitation access to ensure good quality of life and well-being for children in Indonesia. According to UNICEF, about 140,000 children under 5 die in Indonesia every year from diarrhea caused by poor wastewater treatment. About 93% of wastewater from toilets are dumped without being treated in the septic treatment plants and contaminate the water consumed by families, including children. Another reason of low hygiene in Indonesia is also caused by open defecation, where this causes the place of living become contaminated. In Indonesia, about 9.36% of its population are still practicing open defecation. Therefore, Basnas, the National Arms Agency, has cooperated with UNICEF since 2017 to support the provision of access to drinking water and sanitation for poor families. Starting from 2017, Basnas has targeted for water cleaning and sanitation access and also aims to stop open defecation among Indonesians. This synergy with UNICEF targets to bring 1,500 to 2,000 latrines equipped with septic tank by 2020. As the result, 74.58% of Indonesian households are now using improved sanitation facility. This program is believed to bring behavioral changes and help the communities having an integrated septic treatment facility. This facility can help put a stop to unregulated vacuum trucks that dump human waste to rivers in urban areas, eventually contaminating neighborhoods where people live. Establish healthcare infrastructures and facilities. Zakat has also been utilized to provide and support health facilities and infrastructure in certain Muslim countries. For example, Basnas in Indonesia has established Rumah Sihat in Jakarta, Yogyakarta, Sidoarjo and Makassar. Rumah Sihat is designed to provide convenience for the poor who find difficulties to seek health treatment for free. In Malaysia, Zakat authority are established based on the state. For example, Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan distribute the zakat through the establishment of infrastructures such as Mawib Swan Malaysia, Loris Maternity Centre Putrajaya Hospital and Mawib Cataract Surgical Centre Selayang Hospital. Second point is provide protection and shelter via various social safety net program. A few scholars have also highlighted the importance of zakat in providing social protection and welfare towards the community in Muslim countries. For example, zakat is the most important source of social protection in Sudan, providing assistance in many forms ranging from unconditional cash transfers, payment of health insurance fees for the poor through the National Health Insurance Funds, microcredit, as well as assistance to families during Ramadan and during emergencies, according to Turkawi 2015. The Zakat Fund in Sudan has the following policy goals: provide safety nets against drought, desertification, disasters and epidemic, mitigate poverty by providing cash and in-kind support, establish projects for the benefit of the poor and needy, and to tackle unemployment through training and support small projects, according to Hassanain Insight 2016. Another example of a well-developed social protection system for Muslim country is Jordan. Compared to the rest of MENA region, Jordan has a well-developed social protection system that provides long-term assistance to its population. For example, in Jordan, it has the emergency aid program benefited more than 30,000 families in 2015 and 23,000 in 2017. In comparison, the regular monthly cash assistance reached 20,000 households and 18,000 in these respective years. The orphan sponsorship program, which accounted for the largest share of zakat spending in 2017, benefited more than 33,000 children in 2017. This is a huge number. Besides Jordan and Sudan, other Muslim countries have also contributed large number of zakat allocations towards the poor and needy. For example, like in our country, Malaysia. Malaysia, for example, has various zakat aid schemes for asnaf development. This is including monthly financial aid, Ibn Sabil assistance for people stranded during journey for the sake of Allah, emergency aid, Shari'i legal aid, and disaster aid. Zakat are also distributed through Welfare and Protection Institute, which are Darul Kifayah, where it provides shelter and to orphans from the asnaf families, Darul Saadah, where it provides protection and guidance to women who lost their sense of life direction, and Darul Hidayah, where the center provides shelter and Islamic classes to Muslims. According to PPZ Mawib annual report, the expenditure for social safety net accounted more than 50,000 from zakat collection under Mawib in 2018. Therefore, the distribution of zakat towards the poor and needy for their welfare and well-being practiced by Muslim countries are in line with Al-Quran, Surah Az-Zariyat, verse 19. And from their properties was given the right of the needy, petitioner, and the depraved.
In terms of providing education, we can see that education is important in shaping human life of the asnaf, especially among the poor, and elevates their position to a higher level. Education can be accumulated in a number of ways, namely formal education, on-the-job training program, and self-development. How zakat lifts the community out of illiteracy through education? The role of zakat is intended to stimulate education and human development, in which will bring benefit to a country development. Islam places great stress on seeking knowledge and education. In fact, the first verse revealed by Allah in the Al-Quran is on education, in Surah Al-Alaq. In reality, there are still many asnaf people who are eligible for formal education by pursuing their studies at higher education institutions, but they have financial constraints. Expenditure costs in university is associated with current cost of living and education, namely to pay tuition fees, book and learning equipment. The difficult life at university contributes to a high level of stress among students, thus affect their performance in examination. Therefore, some of them decide to work as part-timers to cover their cost of living. Consequently, this will burden the asnaf. However, through zakat fund, it can help the burden of the asnaf. How? Zakat institution empower zakat collection and distribution to the universities where they will act as amil. For example, Lembaga Zakat Selangor has collaborated with University Selangor, UNISEL. Zakat also play important role on education and training with the objective of producing knowledgeable and skilled workforce. To illustrate, the Hyderabad Zakat and Charitable Trust is delivering tangible results in the area of education, with more than 25,000 students are studying in educational institutions. Since 1990, this trust has so far helped over 400,000 students graduate, with many of them are professions in engineering, doctor, lawyer, and chartered accountants. In addition, financial assistance given in the form of self-development by financing education to gain certain skills that will improve the future employability. The poor person who has acquired the necessary skill from training given should be given adequate capital from the zakat fund for him to start a business venture. To illustrate, Zakat Foundation of America in its 2018 annual report stated the Kenya Girls Empowerment Project has compelling the experience and success story of Sahro. Her remarkable journey as a refugee from Somalia to Nairobi and ultimately to the United States of America, raising a family and using the skills she gained in the program. The distribution of zakat for education and human development is stimulate better social life of the recipient. Increase of zakat in the short run is able to increase the social life, quality of education, and quality of recipient. In the long run, increase of the income will influence on consumption, investment, demand for labor, and consequently increase the taxation potential of the government. Abdullah ibn Omar narrated that the messenger, peace be upon him, said, "A Muslim is the brother of a fellow Muslim. He should neither commit oppression upon him, let him down." Based on this hadith, we can understand that how keen Islam is on Muslim on one hand and on the other, to spread love and cooperation between them. All Muslims, as they are brothers and sisters in the human family, they are obliged to show solidarity and social security to each other. Zakat encourages those who are fortunate to help the less fortunate, purify the soul from stinginess. As for the ones on the receiving end, they will feel a sense of friendship and brotherhood with the givers, resulting to the bond and connection becoming stronger. No more envies toward the rich, but healthy souls who love and respect each other. To illustrate, UNHCR launched in 2019 the Refugee Zakat Fund. Through this fund, vulnerable families, including women and children, are supported with cash assistance to cover basic needs. Therefore, we can see that zakat is able to nourish the relationship of friendship and preserve the harmony of social life.
As we know that zakat is a mandatory practice of Islam and the purpose of it is to help the society and indirectly the economic growth, share the endless boons of Allah and give unfortunate ones a better life. Therefore, based on our analysis, we can see that there are many verses in Quran that mention about the obligation of zakat and its significance to the society. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, verses 9, ayat 60. Furthermore, we had been discussed the significance of the zakat in terms of supporting economic growth and supporting the social welfare in Malaysian context as well as in other Muslim countries. With referring to other successful countries such as Jordan, Sudan, Indonesia and Brunei, we are looking forward that Malaysia could achieve and become better in economics as well as social welfare through zakat. Thus, we can see that zakat played an important role in supporting economic growth in Malaysia, meaning that zakat can be considered as a tool to eradicate poverty and promotes the investment in the society. Through zakat as well, the distribution of wealth can be seen equal and thus it is also considered as stabilizer in economic cycles. Zakat in Malaysia also contribute to reduce inflation rate as well as it could protect individuals and society from economic crisis. The function of zakat institution in Malaysia in supporting our economic growth is quite impressive by providing many tools and comprehensive structure to help the needy ones such as poor, asnaf, mu'allaf and many more. Instead of just giving the money, this mechanism is more effective and efficient. As English proverb said, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. In short, zakat has given significant contribution not just in economic growth but also supporting social welfare in Muslim countries. By supporting social welfare, zakat distribution has improved the quality of life and well-being not just for asnaf but the community as well. Zakat also leaves the community out of illiteracy through education, in which the financing is come from the payment of zakat. From the zakat distribution among Muslim countries also help in promoting brotherhood among Muslims. To conclude, we are totally agreed that the zakat is a vital tool to support economic growth and welfare society in Muslim majority countries as what has Islam teaches in the Quran and Hadith.